Hey friends! So today's video is about something that I've actually struggled with. I currently have been set free from it for the most part, but there's one thing that I struggled with and really battled for about 2, almost 3 years of my life, and that was anxiety. And I have had a few people recently who've messaged me and they struggle with it as well. So I was able to share my story and share what happened with me, as well as kind of just listening to how anxiety has really affected their life and changed a lot of things about them and things that they don't necessarily like. And so I just wanted to make a quick video because I know that there are so many other people who are struggling with anxiety or who have been there or who are on the verge of it. And so I think when you hear somebody else's story who's been through it and who's come out on the other side to be able to give you some words of encouragement, I think that is so helpful. And so I just want to do that today, is just kind of encourage you. So basically about 3-4 years ago, I struggled with anxiety to the point of needing medication on a daily basis, as well as an ad-needed medication. And it just controlled my life. It really controlled my social situations. I was working out, in an office at the time, and I just struggled with anxiety of the anxiety that was going to happen that day, and the way that my body would react to it, and kind of just the embarrassment of it ultimately. I had anxiety in public, and so going to malls and going to big public events was really a difficult thing for me. I just would have panic attacks, and I didn't know where it came from because I'm really a friendly person and I like being around people, although I am more of a natural introvert. And so it was a big struggle. Colston was such a great man for putting up with me during that time, because I know that it was difficult because he couldn't control it or help me and I couldn't control it. And so it was just hard on both of us. But I was on medication for a while, and that seemed to help, but it really made me a different person. It didn't allow me to really get through it myself. It just kind of masked the feelings that I would have and the emotions and the panic attacks that would come on. And so I didn't like the way it made me feel. I didn't like that I felt like a whole different person. And so I eventually just kind of tried to wean myself off of it. Now, it took a while. And that's the truth, is that it definitely didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen quickly. It took a while, because anxiety is not something that you just flip a switch on and you flip a switch off. If you've ever gone through it and you know it, it's something that really takes a hold of you, and it takes a good period of time, but also just a lot of strength to get through it. And so I wanted to share with you, because obviously anxiety has a lot of negative health effects, like gastrointestinal disorders. I know I dealt with that. I would be doubled over in pain, so much to where I was convinced something was terribly wrong with me. And every time my doctor said, stress, it's stress, I'm like, this can't be stress. This hurts so much. Like, I'm in so much pain. But it causes really bad gastrointestinal distress and disorders and pain and just feeling awful all the time. It can cause chronic respiratory disorders, and it can cause heart disease, and complicate heart disease if you already have it, for sure. And obviously weight gain. Our bodies they're not meant to handle a lot of stress in the way that we have stress nowadays. And so we gain weight and we just can't seem to get it off. I remember I worried so much about my weight in college. I gained 30 pounds right out of high school. And I was so concerned, and I had so much anxiety about my weight that no matter how many times no matter how many hours I spent in the gym, no matter how healthy I ate, it never came off. It just didn't, because I was anxious about it. My body could not let go of the fat because there was so much anxiety. So it causes a lot of health issues, and we know this. And if you have you're feeling sluggish and groggy, and you can't seem to, you're feeling that anxiety, and you're feeling like you just can't control it, then there's things that you can do. And the first thing, of course, is that I turned to God. I gave it to Him. I just said, listen, this is way out of my hands. I needed Him to help me get through that time, because He's the only one who could. I clearly couldn't do it on my own. I tried. and I ended up on medication. And that's not to say that it's bad that you're on medication, but I'm saying if you can, you've got to get off medication. Do your body the favor and try and get there on your own. And I'm telling you, God helped me get there. He gave me the strength to do it. He gave me the strength to not worry. Now that took time, and it took a lot of faith, and it took a lot of putting aside my own feelings and my own doubts and the questioning that I did. I had to put it all aside because when God was trying to heal me from that, He was asking me to trust Him. And there's a few verses that, obviously in Matthew 6 that are really good that I really clung to during that time. And it just talks about verse 25, therefore I tell you, don't be anxious about your life. Verse 27, worrying does not add a minute to our life. Verse 34 is don't be anxious about tomorrow. And those are just some verses that they obviously connected with me. And God was really ultimately asking me to just lay this down, lay the anxiety down, lay the stress, lay the worry down at His feet, because He is ultimately in control, and He ultimately has my future in control and your future. And as long as we trust Him and we give Him our worries and we trust Him with that, not to say that and I'll never say that He's going to make it great and perfect and our lives so much better, but I tell you what, He's definitely going to give us the strength we need to get through it. And that's my hope for you. I hope that if you're dealing with anxiety or stress, or if you're dealing with the physical complications of that you can take a moment and reevaluate and pray and ask God to take this burden away from you, and to just give you the strength to get through it, because I know that that's ultimately what did it for me. And yes, it took time, it took trust, it took building that relationship with God and daily seeking Him and daily just longing to be in His presence and needing Him to get past that time. So I hope that this helps. I hope that if you're dealing with this and you need somebody to talk to, I'm here if you want to message me and we can talk about your situation. I'd love to just offer you some encouragement. And, I pray that I will continue to trust God in this, because I know that He does have my future in His hands, and He's ultimately in control. And I'm human, so I'm bound to fall and fail. But He is the strength that I need, and He was the strength that I needed to get past that really difficult time in my life. And I hope that, like I said, this encourages you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to discuss it with you.